Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man! All right! Episode 192 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Neal from Tomahawk Printing Company in Georgia. Let's go!
Hey there, Boo Bear.
Hey, Boo Bear.
It's been a while, you know, like
I know.
You were out of town and
This feels good. I like it. I like how this feels.
that's what she said.
I know. How are you? How you doing, by the way? You sound better today.
Today fucking sucks, dude. To be honest.
Oh, okay.
There's just been a bunch of like random shit hitting me today.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a deep breath. Let's do it together. In. We're going to do 3 of them, okay?
We're going to in it. All right.
Slowly exhale.
Show me how.
We'll box breathe.
Are we doing it right now?
Yeah.
All right. So you just breathe in.
Breathe in for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Don't exhale. You're so dramatic. Okay, now breathe out. Exhale for 5 seconds. And then wait 5 seconds and then breathe in. This isn't working. Whatever you're doing isn't going to work because
I feel better now.
Okay, good. That's what that was the goal. So we accomplished it.
Okay, good. Thanks,
for sure. Hey, so there's a funny Dave Gardner story I think that you should share, and I'm sure you would tell it really good. While you tell it, I'm going to reach back here and grab the shirt so I can show everyone. But
okay,
you want to start from the top?
We had Dave Gardner on the show, which was like a first for him. Like he doesn't do podcasts or interviews or whatever. And Dave's awesome. He's like an industry legend. He invented a bunch of shit. He started like some process and, you know, invented the underbase, which we found out was a joke, and all these things. And he was just a really cool dude. Like he was really down to earth, you know, crude kind of guy, which is right up my alley. So it was funny. We did we found out that Gildan was giving him like a lifetime achievement award, basically, at ISS. I saw him at the Shirt Show happy hour. He was there. He was hanging out, whatever. And then I had gone outside to just get fresh air and like whatever, just chill outside. And Dave came out and we just bullshitted. It was fun. It was just, you know, he was outside and we're just hanging out, having a good time and having a conversation. And he had mentioned something in that he had talked to Andy at the hotel or inside. He talked to him at the hotel and you said the wrong thing or you kind of like blew him off. And then upstairs in the happy hour, he said you gave him the stink eye. So he had to come outside and talk to me because he knew where the real boys were at. And in the mail a little while later, we got this wonderful package from Dave. Will you read what it says?
It starts off, it says, guys, JF at American Apparel asked if I would do a design to pass out at the Impressions Lifetime Achievement event. I printed 500 tees that say special edition and only 24 that say limited edition. And he numbered these, like those limited ones, by hand. Mm-hmm. And should I show it now?
Sure.
The number? So here's what it looks like. And you can see where he numbered it by, or
right.
Numbered it.
It's
right
beautiful.
There. And you see what number mine is?
24.
No.
Oh, 16.
Yeah.
16 of 24.
I got 16. And what did you get, Dylan?
15.
And here's why.
Well, read the rest of it.
Yeah. So I heard from Ryan Moore that both of you voted for me as the favorite guest of 2023. So I decided to send you both one of the limited prints. But I had to decide who got the lowest number, because when you do a limited edition, the lower number is more valuable. Dylan gets number 15 of 24 and Andy gets number 16 of 24. It was a tough decision, but since Andy gave me the stink eye at the post party, then congratulated me on the Gildan, not the Impressions Award, when I ran into him at the Hyatt, the tiebreaker goes to Dylan. But he says, seriously, thank you both for asking me. And adding a little spice to my 2023. So if I gave Dave, I want to apologize right now because I 1000% didn't mean to give anyone the stink eye, especially Dave.
You only have this stink eye. Like that's just how
I
you
mean,
look.
I think that, when we had our happy hour, you want to talk to everyone. And it's tough because you go from person to person, then you get in a conversation and then they're all good. It's just that you don't really get to talk to everyone. And then the band was really loud for a little bit and I couldn't even hear.
I was screaming at people that were a foot from me.
I know. And so I apologize to Dave and anyone else that I gave the stink eye to. I take it back. I mean, don't be mad at me. I'll make it up to you. But what's really hilarious is that when I did see him, I was like, hey, because I was told, somebody told me that he was getting an award from Gildan. And I was like, oh, cool. This is great. I didn't know it was an Impressions Award. And so I said the wrong thing, but so did you. And so I think that we're back tied again. There's no tiebreaker.
Yeah, but I have number 15, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I'm coming up there and getting.
Also hurts my heart that you took it out of the plastic.
Oh, it was in. I don't even remember anymore.
It was in the bag.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I took it out.
That's a no-no in the collector's world, bud.
Well, I didn't even know what it was until I opened it.
It's okay. Just go throw it in the test bin out back.
Oh, fuck off. All right. Anyway. Yeah, that's what happened. Check. Are we recording? You're not drinking a fucking Coke, are you? Like a straight up Coke?
Mm-hmm.
That's not allowed.
Mexican
we have
Coke. I told you I was having a rough day, okay? It's either this or
I'm telling the mild hunks.
Something stronger. Go ahead.
Mild hunks are going to find fucking out about this. This bullshit. You don't drink sugar. Those Now, if you're going to drink a Coke,
glass bottle
to drink. It's way better, like the Mexican Coke. They're delicious, agree with you. But still.
Yeah, Sarah went and got me Chipotle for lunch today, and it had a Mexican Coke in it. So
disappointed. You don't have to have that. You could drink something else. You could have Chipotle. That's 100% healthy.
Don't have to, but it's one of those things where I'm just saying fuck it right now, and I'm drinking it.
You know what we're doing this week?
No idea.
We're prepping for the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And if Taylor's boyfriend's team wins, we're going to print at least 10 shirts.
At least.
We come in here and we print.
You upped the amount that you normally do, right?
Right. We thought, let's add a 0 to it. And so, yeah, we're going for it.
Nice.
No, actually yesterday we got it approved. Tuesday, you had to do a sample print side by side, take a picture, color matching, boom, get it approved. We also, which was really interesting, we're on a Zoom call with Fanatics for 30 minutes about placement, and they have a really neat tool. I'm sure you've seen it. You know, it's like with a plastic ruler looking thing.
With a collar out of it?
Yeah, collar on it, and you set it on there.
We have one for heat press.
Yeah, we have that for, not for every shirt as you load it, just as you're setting up and stuff. They kind of went through and talked about how you could do that. And also maybe do like a random check every hour or something like that, just to make sure it's, as you get tired, you might not be as straight and all this kind of stuff. So it was really interesting being on that Zoom call, and other shops were watching and just hearing from, I think you're walking the fine line of insulting someone, because you're like, hey, these shirts, here's how you make them straight. But like, wait, we've been printing for like 20 years or whatever. So I think we got this. But at the same time, they understand that
it's like when your team comes in and they're trying to get something approved, and it's a customer is like close to you or something. You're like, just make sure they're straight, or just make sure that white looks good. And they look at you like, well, fucking obviously. Like, what else would I do?
Like, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm in charge of this ship. I got this.
Mm-hmm. So they just did that to you on a bigger scale.
Yeah, they probably heard about Sure Kong. They were like, hey, we know that
this is going to be fucked up.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. We got to get them on a call.
Mm-hmm. Pallets are all loose.
They're smart. Hey, let's talk about what we're doing up in Chicago, Roselle, Illinois. In April 18th and 19th.
Yeah, we decided to bring back the old Shirt Show summer camp. I feel like we need another name for it because it's
not in the summer.
It's never in the summer now.
Well, it's white ink and hot dogs is what it was.
Right.
And so it's white ink and more hot dogs.
Yeah. So We did last year. We did the White Ink summer camp, and it came out great. Everyone really loved it, and we had a high demand for people to come out. And we were like, hey, at the end of it, we were like, hey, this was a success, and we would like to do more of these. Here's some things we would tweak. And we were like, definitely can't do it at Shirt Kong anymore. This was fucking awful. Like the setup here, it was just ugly.
Like
it
when
was
people
dirty.
walk in and they threw up and stuff.
Right. And we had to have like a mop bucket at the front door.
Some people left.
Right. And then our buddies at M&R decided they wanted to host it and let us use their amazing factory showroom and whatnot. So lots of space, lots of sweet presses to do it on. And so we're going to do one there. We plan on doing more. We're going to try to do some with other people. Again, non-biased. You don't have to be an M&R shop to come to this. You can be a rock shop, and it's still the fundamentals of what you want to do will work on any press. It could be a Anatol,
yes,
rock, sir. MHM, anything. So regardless of who you're loyal to, come out and learn how to print the best white, and it's the foundation of everything. It's the way to any shirt. It's not just for white ink designs. It's underbasing and just level up your game. And if you got production managers you want to send out to learn, or if you want to come out last time. Yeah, it's good. And it's not me and Andy talking either. So it's all the experts in the fields. I mean, we'll talk, but it's experts in each field of, for each station, it's who we think is the best possible option. So
yeah, there's 5 stations. We go through the 5 truths of printing the best white. We spend, you spend about 40 minutes at each station. We also have a happy hour to have some fun.
Mm-hmm. The first night you get to do a factory tour at M&R and see the facility. Factory
fucking tour.
Yeah. And we'll grill some hot dogs and we'll have a little, picnic lunch. And it'll be a good time. Come hang out. Tickets will be limited though. Again, we're going to try to do this at multiple places. So we're just going to do a number we're all comfortable with, where it's like everybody gets intimate. Yeah, like we want to make sure that the guests aren't in like a fucking crowd and it's hard to hear, hard to figure out what's going on. So we wanted to make sure it was like 10-ish people per station.
Yep.
In order to get the full experience.
Yeah, so we're going to try 50 people, so 50 tickets, and that's just like last time. We might have had more last time, but it was just a little too much. And so we're going to have them go on sale Valentine's Day.
Really?
You want to do it then?
I don't know. Sure.
It'll be 2 days. When this comes out, 2 days after that, Valentine's Day, get your tickets. And if they're not available, then it'll have to wait.
Yeah. Just pay attention. Pay attention to our Instagram, and we'll post, let you know, like, hey, pre-sale is going to go at this time and whatever. But when they're gone, they're gone. Last time we put it up, it sold out in 24 hours. So no dilly-dally. If you want to come, order it and get it done.
No dilly-dally.
And no dally.
Yeah. So that's that. Frank will be there.
Yep. There's no one better to talk about screens. Bring it on home, boy.
It all starts with a screen, and whether it is new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
So you know how we went out to dinner with Frank in Long Beach? Yeah. We went to a place called Nick's. And
it was amazing.
It was awesome.
Yes.
And thank you, Frank, by the way. He bought everyone dinner. And it was delicious. But it turns out when we stayed longer and we went down to Laguna after the show, there's a Nick's in Laguna, but there's also this place called South of Nick's, which is actually south of Nick's, but it's also Mexican.
Oh, okay.
And it was just as good. Like it was so good. Joanna and I went back like again. And we were only there for like 6 days or whatever we were. We went there twice. It was delicious.
It was great. Yeah.
Really if you're ever around, you should definitely go to Nick's.
Thank you, Frank. Love you.
Thank you, Frank. Love you. Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way.
Look, GraphX is the source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. Go to graphxsource.com to learn more about what they offer and let them run your art department so you can focus on running your
manicure. Dude, mine are fucking terrible. God awful.
Have you ever had a pedicure? Just curious.
I know it would be bad. There would be looks given for
It'd
sure.
be like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, they bring out the grinding wheel. That's exactly what it would be like.
Oh, I'd love to see that. So the next time we're going to be in Atlantic City.
Can we get massages
and mani pedis, like the
let's
works,
get
like a spa
let's
day.
get like dirty, like boardwalk massages though.
Oh,
like,
no. When we were walking those places, it was way dirtier than dirty.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Let's do it.
Not good. No. Nope.
Dude.
Like,
come on.
No.
I'll do it.
Way.
I'll tell you. I'll do it twice, and I'll tell you how it was both times.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look, choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids or contact him on IG at the Emulsion Guru and get the answers you
need fast.
Need fast. And next, we have Howard Custom Transfers. If you're not using DTF or screen print transfers in your shop, you're doing it way wrong. We've partnered with Howard Custom Transfers to get you the transfers you need fast, as there's another need fast situation. So look, check them out at howardct.com.
Order their sample pack, try the shit out. You're going to be happy. And give Candy a call. She's the absolute best human ever. And you'll be good to go.
D, today we are chatting with Neal White from Tomahawk Printing Company in Atlanta, Georgia. Did I say that right? Do you say Atlanta or at?
No, it's Hotlanta.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Hotlanta.
Because it's hot there or something?
Yep.
Okay, sure. Well,
there he is.
There we go.
Cool.
So anyway, Atlanta. You're from Atlanta? Are you always from Atlanta?
Yeah, I've been here. I was born in the city, and then we lived outside the city until I was 18. Then I did
Whereabouts outside the city?
Forsyth County, Cumming.
I was in Marietta for a little while.
Okay, yeah. I'm one of my suppliers, Lawson, is in Marietta, so I go there all the time.
Yeah, I was there for like 2 years. And
what shop were you at?
I worked at Terminus.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. They moved though to
You're up in Woodstock now, I think.
Yeah, they moved to a new place. I haven't heard or talked to them since then. So but it was pretty cool. I loved the food down there. That was by far the best part of living there.
It's food not. Or are you in upstate?
I'm in New York,
upstate,
yeah.
But New York.
I mean, I have good food here, but I'm just saying, like down there, it was like good, like barbecue was good, and there was like a ton of good restaurants. Like by far, my favorite restaurant was the Marietta Diner.
You know, I've never actually been there.
Really?
I drive by it all the time, but I've never actually been.
I love that place. It was on that. Was it the Guy Fieri thing or whatever?
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah. It was good though. I always got the chicken cordon bleu sandwich. Was like a big open face. It was almost like 2 full like butterfly chicken breasts on like a roll with like ham and cheese like all over the whole top. It was so fucking good.
I mean, I guess there's a barbecue place that I go to at least 2 or 3 times a week down the street. And I guess because I go so regularly, I don't even think about how good it is.
Is it Williamson Brothers?
Community.
I don't know if I've been there.
It's in Decatur.
So you kind of have a weird-ish, I guess it's not weird, but it's different, like a different.
No, it's weird. It's weird.
A different way of doing business. Can you kind of give us a scoop on how and why?
Yeah. So I did the typical, I'm in a band, can't afford merch, so I'm going to learn how to do it myself. Learned how to do it myself. And then I came home from a tour and did you ever go to the Drunken Unicorn in Atlanta?
Probably. I don't remember right now.
It's across from Murder Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaving a show one day and there was just a new screen printing shop that had opened up and it was like 2:00 in the morning and they were still there printing. And I went there the next day and said, "Hey, are y'all hiring?" He goes, "Yeah." our screen guy just quit. So
Yeah, obviously we're hiring. We worked till 2:00 in the morning last night.
he's like, yeah, our screen guy quit. I'll call you. And then he didn't call me for 2 weeks. I got to the shop. Literally every single screen was just rough. I mean, I'd known how to clean up screens, but I'd done it like in my mom's basement. So I'd never used a pressure washer to do it. So he was like, have at it. And then, let's see, I did that for about 8 months or so. Then I started like taking on jobs for myself.
Like at home?
No, he would let me like print. Like I was like, oh, my friend's band needs 20 shirts, whatever, one color on a white shirt. So
Right.
I could do that. No problem. I started doing that more and more often. And then I started making more money doing that than I was at him because he was paying me $8 an hour. And then I went on a tour for about 3 months with I worked with a friend's band from Sweden, a heavy metal band. So I went out of town with them for about 3 months. And then I came back. He said I would have a job when I got back. And when I got back, I did not have a job. And
Classic.
yeah. And then I just said, well, hey, I've got some orders coming up. Do you mind if we just keep our same deal? I would give him like $1 a shirt or something like that. And it's like, yeah, whenever I'm done, just come in here, do whatever you need.
So he let you go, but he still let you print in his facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was expecting him to say absolutely not. But
Right.
he was just like, yeah, no problem. But I would also do some nice things. Like if I was getting some screens, he's like, hey, do you mind getting a couple of these screens? I need them for tonight or whatever. It's like, yeah, no problem. Like if I was going up to a rotor, like I would say, hey, I'm going up here. Do you need to pick anything up for you? Or do you have an order ready or something? Because we have an Alpha Broader warehouse here.
Right.
So I go up there, not as much as I used to, but I just do things like that. Hey, I'm going to the ink supply store or wherever we're at. Do you need anything while I'm up there?
It used to be TSC, wasn't it?
That would be before my time. I'm not sure.
Yeah. TSC used to be real close.
You know, like just thinking if I was in this situation, it's really hard to hold a job for that. You know, he probably replaced you. I'm guessing what happened is he found somebody. Were you still cleaning screens? Like, is that the role you wanted to do when you got back, is clean screens?
That's pretty much all I did was clean screens. But if it got busy, he would have me catch shirts off the dryer. He had actually, I gotten a friend of mine the job. So when I got back, because he had actually, it's actually kind of blurry now, because he eventually had him cleaning screens and I would just like burning screens and catching shirts off the dryer and doing like pickup runs, stuff like that.
So anyway, you made a deal where you started to like print a bunch of shirts. It sounds like.
Yeah.
And that just grew into, it's like a business, I guess.
Pretty much. I didn't have the Tomahawk name right at first. And then I was kind of, I'm doing business. I need a company name and I couldn't think of a name. I thought of a name trying to think of a name for like 4 or 5 months. And my friend's like, why don't you just call it Tomahawk? All right, that works.
Like out of nowhere? Is that from something or what?
Probably a Braves game or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's Atlanta. I was like, I mean, they don't do the Tomahawk shop anymore, but he was like, oh, we're just trying to think of Atlanta names, like
right, yeah.
Braves printing or something like that, which we would do. But he's like, why don't you just call it Tomahawk?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that works for me.
So you basically were self-taught screen printer on the side at night at a place to print friends' bands merch.
Yeah. Well, I had originally printed stuff for like local bands that I had played in. And like I had like a friend of mine had given me like the speedball kit from Michaels.
Yeah.
So I kind of ruined my mom's basement. I would print mostly with water-based like speedball ink because I didn't know any better. Then I got some plastisol and was curing them in her oven while she was at work. She would come home and the whole house was filled up with smoke. She'd come home pissed, but she wasn't actually angry. She was more like, I see that you're making money, but I wish you would not do this in my house.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to make that like dinner casserole and it tastes like plastisol.
Plastisol, yeah. And I guess I found out that cardboard doesn't burn until like 400 degrees. So I would just put a shirt or two in the oven for 90 seconds or whatever. And then I'd only have like 20 or 30 at a time. So it didn't take that long, but.
Still not great.
Yeah. But yeah, then I kind of feel like I skipped the manual, like hard labor process because we had the auto there and he was like, you can use whatever you want. Obviously I know how to use a manual. I do it very well, but I feel like I half the jobs I did, I kind of just started on the automatic.
And why not at that point? If you have the tool, why are you not doing it?
Yeah, that's kind of, sometimes I think maybe I didn't put my hours in on the manual, but also sometimes I just don't care getting the job done.
I feel like it's a weird thing because we had the Sidewinder here just collecting dust for forever. And we would always have these jobs that was obviously like a 25 one color or whatever, but without hesitation, everybody would rather just grab a screen, try lock it, put it on the auto, print the shirts, be done, than to even fathom putting it on the manual and printing it that way. Yeah,
I've actually got a job to do tomorrow on the manual, just a handful of shorts, with like a white shorts with just a red print. I feel there's 20 of them.
I feel like we would have this job every so often that was like a military green hoodie, and they always wanted like a black print on the side of the hood. And that was the only thing I ever used the manual for, was for that and for printing like transfer sheets for neck tags, which I think is what Andy, you guys were using it for quite a while.
Do y'all have like a contraption of like, if you're printing, like say you got an order for 10,000 hoodies and they all had a hood print. I'm assuming you wouldn't do that by hand.
They make a special palette for hoods. I usually turn it down, honestly. If someone's like, hey, I want a hood printed, if it's not black ink, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, cause I'm not playing around with trying to get it to stick and doing it under base and all this other stuff. So we generally don't get it or we turn it down. Nowadays you can do it as a transfer. So
yeah, that's probably what we would do. Cause I remember seeing bands and like metalcore bands in the late 2010s would have a huge like foil print on the hood.
Yeah. Foil and a hood together sound like vomit to me.
Yeah.
I had to quote out this job. I got to grab the sheet. They had this thing on here they call it enhancements. And so check this out. Here's their enhancements: Crystallina, foil, flock, glitter, puff, and scented. And I was like, nope. Like, nope. Like none of it.
This is a customer asking for this stuff?
Yeah. So we did a phone call yesterday and they were like, oh, disregard that. That's from a few years ago. We don't use any of that stuff anymore. But yeah, I didn't even know about Crystallina. Is like a glitter that is in a clear base that sparkles. So like when you print it, the clear base kind of, when it cures, you can't really see it. And then you have this like sparkly, rainbowish almost looking glitter. And and we hate doing glitter even and all that kind of stuff because then it requires you to have a different like a super low mesh. Yeah, like it's just a mess. We'll do like a metallic or a shimmer. Yeah. But glitter we shifted to vinyl a while ago, and you can just
first of all, when you said that, I thought you said Crystalia, which the comedian.
Crystalia.
Oh, I wish. Yeah.
I was like, Crystalia is on your list. That's cool.
Oh my gosh. Or if we could do his merch, he's got some great stuff.
Yeah, like who was I talking to yesterday? There was someone that came to see me and they were talking about like different prints or something like, you could use this on this and this and this. I'm like, dude, we do not do that. Like I turn it down. They're like, oh, well, you can print over the zipper. I'm like, it's just funny to think now, especially after doing the show and talking to all these people, we are such a no shop now. I feel like people will be like, will you print this or will you do this? I'm like, no.
Sometimes it's hard to say no, but sometimes you just have to.
I know, but now I feel like it's all the time, which I'm totally cool with. Like 90% of the things that we're getting are what we want. You know what I mean? It's like, we're going to do t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, tank tops, whatever, like front prints, back prints, water-based discharge, plastisol, whatever. But there's these people now that are like, I want rhinestones or I want a hood print or over the pocket, over the zipper, whatever. And I'm just like, no interest. Like
for some reason I get asked about in the pocket, like if you like pull the pocket down and it's like a cat.
That was a fad for a while. Yeah. Our buddy at Kinetic gave us a good tip for that. You remember that in the episode? Yeah, where he pulled it out and it was the best way to do it by far. I I have that actually saved on my phone, like a clip from the shirt show saved on my phone to like the next time we get to do that.
Do you
Could
think
you do a DTF through that? Like, would it go through the pocket?
You probably could, yeah.
Just
But
stick
this
it
was
in
a
there.
cool way to screen print it.
I wonder if Screen Print GPT could tell us how to print in the pocket.
You want to try it?
I bet not.
Probably not. It's kind of, well,
That's a tough
maybe.
one.
I
You
don't
want
know.
to try it?
We were talking, me and Andy, before, just so this doesn't seem weird. We were talking about how we really wanted to help Matt because we think it's an awesome educational tool. Screenprintgpt.com. Matt set it up now. He took on sponsors so that he could give it free to everybody. So you don't have to pay for, whatever service it was before. Now you can just go there and you could use it because it's paid for by the sponsors or whatever. So us included and a bunch of other people in the industry pitched in, and now it's an available tool for everybody. So we want to show people, especially on the show, that you can use this. And
If you just have a question, you can just ask it like,
yeah, so like anything,
whatever.
like this one is specific to screen printing. He has it basically like scrubbing the internet, and he's also like manually putting in a ton of people's papers and blog posts and anything and everything screen print education related is all going into this. And then the AI is pulling from that and giving like the best educated answers to these. And a lot of the ones we've done have been like super helpful. So that's what I mean. Like if you could be a production manager or anybody in the shop and have a question about something, now you can just pull it up on here and ask the question. But in my opinion, the best thing is like, if you feel embarrassed to ask a basic question that you're like, I should know the answer to this, you don't have to go on you don't have to go on Facebook or Reddit or anything like that and get grilled for an hour before you actually get some information. You can just go on here anonymously and put something in.
So you want to ask it a question? Or you want to just do one of these?
Ask it a question. Do you got anything? We're just talking about foil.
Neal, what do you got?
Now I'm on the spot.
What's a genuine question you might have? Like what's something you're struggling with?
I switched over to low cure inks for the most part, if possible.
We could do like, what are the benefits of using low cure ink versus
Sure.
standard inks?
Yeah. Energy saving, or it's cured.
Here it goes.
Energy savings, number one.
Energy
Yeah.
saving. Yeah.
Number two, material compatibility. So it says some materials, especially heat sensitive substrates or components, it's moving, so it's hard to read, may be damaged or deformed at high temperatures. So low cure processes allow for the use of these materials without compromising their integrity. Number three is reduced production time. Interesting. Why? Oh, faster curing. Duh.
Faster dryer.
Yeah. Improved product quality. So low cure process can help minimize the risk of defects such as blistering, warping, discoloration. Environmental benefits. So low curing temperatures can contribute to reduced emissions.
Less fuel in the dryer.
For sure.
Because
And
the
cost
energy
savings.
savings.
Yeah, there you go. So it did it.
Do y'all know that, or I'm asking, not do y'all know, but I had a guy that sells me ink said that water-based ink is significantly worse for the environment than plastisol. He said the manufacturer told him that, and he said it was a quick conversation. We didn't really talk about it too much. So
I feel like it's one of those things where it was, what is it called? Greenwashing, basically, where everybody comes out and says that everything is green and environmentally whatever. I think it's just one of those things where
he was saying the manufacturing of the water base was significantly
I
worse
don't
for the
know.
environment.
I honestly don't have the right answer because I hear something from some people and something from other people, and I haven't been to an actual factory to see anything being made to know what's what. But from what I've been told is it's basically they both have pros and cons. Like one isn't like the greenest thing in the world and the other one's the devil. It's kind of just like
See
they
a lot of
both
shops posted,
have.
we do
things.
environmentally friendly water-based inks.
I think the biggest thing with water base is that you can use water to clean up. You're not using other harsh chemicals to spray on the screens and squeegees and all this other stuff. You can literally just wash it away with water. Other than that, I don't think there's really anything else. Like I know there's going to be people listening that are like, "Fuck you."
Well, I think if you're listening and
ever,
do us a favor and comment on our YouTubes, comment in there and say what the difference is or what the environmental benefit is. It'd be good to know because I don't really know myself because we're a plastol shop. But back to your story. You have, we haven't really got to why you have a weird situation yet, but we're close.
Sure.
Oh,
So where we left off. So yeah, I was just printing stuff at nighttime. And it wasn't always nighttime. Like I didn't have to wait for him to finish and close up. Like I could start printing screens during the day. So it's kind of still where we're at. And then like if he wasn't doing much during the day, like if he was just doing some embroidery or like DTG stuff, like I'll just print my stuff during the day, which doesn't happen that often. But when it does, it's great. And
So
then
you're still using the same shop, like you're.
Well,
this
we
entire
actually
time?
are. Yeah, we're actually signing a lease for our own shop today, though. As soon as I think when we get off here, I'm going to go meet up with the other two guys and sign our lease.
Oh hell yeah!
So, you have no idea the wait. Right before I logged in, I got a text that, "Oh, we're signing the lease today." The weight of just years of turmoil have just been lifted off my shoulders.
So I've heard of other people doing this before, basically like leasing space and leasing equipment for the most part, like of someone else's shop to do their own stuff. Like in your opinion, obviously, because you've been doing it and now you're about to move on your own thing. Like what are the pros and cons with all this? Like what's the biggest, like the honest review of good and bad with doing that?
Honest or the best thing was when I first started, I would give him, I think, $1 a shirt. And then sometimes he would try to charge me for screens if I used, like if I had a 6-color job, a bunch of them in a week, he'd be like, "Hey, you need to give me some more." But I didn't pay him for ink. I used all of his ink. I used all of his emulsion, all the screens. Like hypothetically, if I needed a certain color, I wouldn't expect him to go buy it. Like I would go get it myself. But it was.
I just think he had a bad pricing structure.
He did for sure. Absolutely. And then he started seeing, it's like, oh, he's doing, I was like, he would come in or like he would see me like stacking boxes like, "Oh, you've got like a couple 1,000-piece orders."
Right.
And he was like, "I want that money." I was like,
right. Well, this was our agreement. Yeah. Me and Andy have talked about this before because it gets hairy with like,
it was a handshake deal. We never signed anything.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like even here as an employee, sometimes they have their own personal projects and they're like, "Oh, can I like print shirts after work, whatever." I've never had anybody who's like, "Hey, I want to like screen print for other people." Like, I feel like that would weird me out. But Andy, what was your take on that? Because it was, you basically were just like, no across the board or.
no, I think so. What we do now, and just to keep it fair.
Oh, it's contract pricing, right?
It's contract pricing because here's the thing, like it's different if a press operator comes to you and says, "Hey, can I run an order over lunch?" Or, like let's say at the end of the day, "Can I run an order?" Well, they can run it all by themselves, right? But how is that fair to like somebody in quality control that says, "Hey, I want to run an order," but they have to have somebody help them like run the press or whatever. They don't know how to do that. And so that everybody can run an order if they want, then all you do is just go to contract pricing, which is the same pricing that contractors get.
But then you're just doing that job in a normal day, a normal schedule. It's not
right,
like after
because
work. It's not.
Here's
whatever.
the thing: like even some of our press operators don't really make screens, and so Kyle would have to make the screen and things like that. So it's like other people get involved.
Right.
So the best way to do it is just to run it like a normal job and run it as contract pricing, and that's a great deal, really. I mean, our contract pricing is a pretty good discount, and so I think it's a win-win. I think that, whoever wants to do that, the employee, part of your team that wants to do that, they get a good price. At the same time, the shop isn't losing money because it's one thing to print, like you said, 25 shirts or 50 shirts or whatever once every year. But it's a different if you're running jobs and all of a sudden there's like 500 shirts there and you're like, "Wait, time out, hold on a second." And so just to keep it all fair, keep it simple. I think especially when you have a larger team, then just keep it track of it all. Let's just run it as contract pricing. It's very easy.
Yeah.
That's
no, have you ever thought of not printing them yourself and like just again maybe do like a contract thing with the current shop you're working at? Like let them print them, or did you like printing them like after hours and that was your whole thing?
So I was just making more money doing that than I would make more money in one night than I would in a whole week.
Well, obviously, if he's only taking $1.
Yeah. And I never even really thought of it that way. I think every guy in my family has like been like a self-employed business person, but like my family like are electrical contractors. So I can't think that just kind of rubbed off on me. So I think
Mm.
that's just all I knew.
Right.
So the
That's
so the
you're gonna
bonus,
do.
I guess the benefits are like the pros to doing it the way you did it is that your barrier to entry is super small. There's no investment in equipment. There's no lease
Sure.
that you signed. There's all it is that, you've got these shirts, you buy the shirts, I guess, and then you go there and print them. And so you could get into it at a much lower cost. So that's a good thing. What's the bad?
Well, it's just hypothetical. Oh, I've got 1,500 shirts to print tonight.
Hmm.
Well, he's staying late to finish up a big job he had. Now it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting for him to finish. You're working until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Also, I think the worst part is I told myself I wouldn't sit here and talk shit about the guy the whole podcast. He's the most difficult person I think I've ever worked with in my entire life.
I love how you just said you didn't want to shit on him, and the thing that you said was probably the worst thing you could have said.
Well, he knows it. Like I talk shit to him to his face all the time. So in like a way that's appropriate. I wouldn't go in there and just say, "Hey, fuck you."
Right.
But well, actually, I have. But like, I can come in and say, "Will you hurry the fuck up? I need to get this stuff." And like, he's like, "Fuck you. I'm taking my time." Or like it's fine.
Right.
Like it's just shop talk or whatever, I guess. But
yeah, it's all loving talk.
Yeah. But it's like they're like sometimes I would come in and he would just have used a whole gallon of ink that I bought the day before, and be like, "Well, I needed it." Like, okay, you're gonna get more. He's like, "Yeah, well, I don't need any right now, but I might get some in a few days." I was like, "Well, I need it tonight." He goes, "Well, sorry."
So when you basically got the option that you have now of opening your own place and getting an auto and all this other stuff, I'm guessing you weighed the options of continuing and printing anything you want for a dollar a shirt, basically.
Oh, he after a while he started saying like, this is bullshit. Like, you need just give me a flat rate. I'll just charge you X amount a month. And then so the past 2 years I've just been like, I'd give him a certain amount of money each month.
So you're just renting, basically.
Yeah. Whether I have 5 jobs or 50 jobs, it doesn't matter. He just gets the same rate.
But his jobs would have priority still, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Over yours.
He told me before, like, it's like I got I got asked about a rush job last week or 2 weeks ago. It's around 3,000 shirts. Something we could do 2 days, no problem. Like front and back, so it would have taken a little bit longer. So like I guess 6,000 pence, I guess. But I turned it down because he had a big order. He came and he's like, "You could have just asked me. Like, we could have worked something out." I was like, "Oh, well, sorry."
It just seems like a lot of back and forth with somebody else. Like, I feel like, to me, it sounds like the thing when you're a brother and sister and you're both like 16, 17, whatever, and you have to share the family car. And the sister's like, "Oh, well, I got a thing tonight." And you're like, "Well, fuck, I had a thing tonight," but we never actually figured out a schedule of like, I'm going to use it tonight and who's going to use it when. It just seems like very frustrating when it's time, like jobs that have specific times they have to go out.
Yeah. That's the perfect way to put it. Actually, he just, right before we logged on, he just texted me, like, basically go buy more film. And everything I've printed in the past month or so has been a reprint, so I haven't printed out any film. So he's just been using it all, which is fine. It's actually my printer. I bought the film printer, but
So long story short, it sounds like a better deal to just have your own shop at this point.
Mentally, mentally, 100% better. But also, it's like I'm at a point to where I can do very large orders. Well, large for me, I could, if someone asked me for 50, 100,000 shirt order, I would absolutely be able to do it. We have the space. I have the ability. Like, I have people that I hire when I need them. But logistically, it wouldn't work there. And like, we've been asked about them before. And I'm like, but they've always been kind of like, "Hey, we need this right now." type of thing. So like I couldn't logistically, I'll do it over the weekend or something like that. So
Right.
I did, luckily, I got a pretty big order. I did a tour supply for Franz Ferdinand last summer.
Nice.
And just luckily, I said, yeah, I'll take it. I'll do it. Luckily, he was gone out of town that week. So I didn't have to do any like late nights or weird logistics. I just
Right. You could
came
just
to
do it
town.
all day.
Yeah, there was no logistics. I just came into work and printed, and then within a day I went home.
Yeah. So what was the thinking? Like what happened in your brain of like, okay, I got to get moving on my own thing? Because you'd kind of noted to Christina that you have some partners in this scenario.
Yeah. So two friends of mine. So actually, kind of when I started doing, I was just stopped doing any work for him at all. I got a friend of mine. His name's Max. To do his embroidery, screen cleaning, his shop help or whatever. And I didn't directly teach him how to print. I definitely gave him some pointers and said, hey, use this mesh or this squeegee, whatever, little things. And he actually picked it up significantly faster than I did. He's a pretty good printer now too. And the other guy's name is Scott. They're in a band. They're in a heavy metal band from Atlanta. So they started printing their own merch because they had the shop available to do it to them. And then we just started we've been friends for a long time. And then they were just like, do y'all want to just go get our own place so we don't have to work around this guy and like his constraints and temper tantrums and
So the
like
three
that.
of you
So-
were working with the other place.
Yeah. So, well, the guy, Max, I don't know how it's easy to keep track of who's who, but Max is his employee, but at nighttime would print his own band's merch.
Okay.
And then he started getting his people were like, oh, can you print my shirts? Kind of the same thing with me. For the typical band, you're in a band, print your own merch, and then someone sees it and says, oh, can you print mine?
Right.
So they kind of did that too. Actually, pretty significantly, pretty quickly after them starting their own thing, they started getting not huge orders, a couple hundred at a time. It's pretty good. And then one day we were just out, I think eating dinner. Like we should just get our own spot and just, I mean, I'm not the biggest name in screen printing in Atlanta, but I get a lot of word of mouth business. So
Not yet, you mean?
not yet. Yeah.
But so you have this, you're signing a lease today, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And
we're
you're going to
looking
have
at
this
that.
space. And do you have equipment already ordered, or how are you going to,
Yeah,
fill it with
so
equipment? What's your plan there?
So we bought we found a good deal. The shop was going out of business, or no, not going out of business. They bought a 1214 Sportsman EX, set it up, did a couple of jobs. They're like, we don't want to do this. So we got an incredibly good deal on an auto exposure unit, chiller, air compressor, dry, like just everything. For about half of what we would normally spend.
Like a full setup, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's basically a full set. I mean, we need.
Where is it at? In Atlanta somewhere?
Louisiana, I think.
Okay.
I think that's where it's at.
And so are you flying down there and driving it to your...
we have someone delivering it. Like a guy's going to deliver it and install it for us. Like I couldn't put the auto together. Like there's no way I could do that.
We always recommend that anyway. So like if you're buying,
for sure.
even if you're good, like if you're a good mechanic and you can take apart a press and put it back together, the M&R techs or whoever you're buying it from, or Rock Tech or whatever tech represents that manufacturer, is way better because they have those tools to calibrate it to 1,000th of an inch.
They have specialty tools that like you can't buy that they
They're
use
awesome.
to do it. So
And so, the money you're going to spend to have them set up your press, you're going to save probably in the first month just out of like
Nightmares.
registration. Yeah, for sure. So I highly recommend doing the way you're doing it is great.
Yeah. We need to still get a couple of things like some screen racks or a washout booth, but those are not hard to find.
yeah, you'll get there when you get there, kind of thing.
Yep.
So how did you guys divvy it up? Or is it just the three of you equal parts, or is it like someone's in charge of manufacturing, someone's in charge of sales?
So we're kind of just, it was my idea. It's like, look, I know like I've kind of been in business for 10 years. Y'all are doing this, like, y'all are kind of coming, I don't know if we're combining companies or starting a new one. We're keeping the Tomahawk name. and it's still gonna be Tomahawk prints. But I was like, let's just do everything evenly. Like everyone gets its own, like it's equal. Um, our friend Scott that's doing it with us, he's more financially literate than I am. He's doing all the artwork, financial, computer, emails, everything, and he knows how to print a little bit. So he can, like, if we get a good size order, he can pull and catch and box and do logistics of packing sheets and everything like that. And he does sales too, better than I do. He also owns a video production company, so he's better at business work than I am. And Max is great at printing. Does all of our embroidery. He does all my embroidery now anyway. And then he's good at printing. So everyone can move around a little bit for the most part. But
Right.
I think our roles are kind of being like, I'm printing, setting it up. And then if I need Max to come in and help.
Everyone I think that listens to this show knows how I feel about partnerships. But I'm just going to try to give you a little bit of advice before you get too far into it.
Sure.
Is to maybe set some clear, defined, like who's doing what role and who's handling it and who gets to decide if they change something within that area. Because I feel like if you go in all fast and loose and like handshake this, handshake that, and then you have to decide on something for the company, and then two of you don't like what the third one likes or
Sure.
whatever, then it's just going to be a fucking shit show.
One of our good friends is a lawyer, and we actually had a call with him last night, and he went over every single possible thing that we could think of. And he mentioned the stuff like that. We're like, well, do y'all want to have a unanimous, like if y'all want over a certain dollar amount of equipment or a purchase, do y'all want to do a unanimous decision or a majority? Or do y'all need to be up to a certain dollar amount? Can anyone go buy something? And like, we had a call last night and we kind of went over all the details of what we think is fair and what we think is going to be realistic for us. So everything is not just like oh, hell yeah, let's go in here and print this stuff and handshake. Like, we've got it. And like the other two guys are extremely friendly. No one thinks their friend's going to fuck them over until it happens. But
well, that's my argument is in the building, the honeymoon phase of owning a business, everybody's like, fuck yeah, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. But then when you get someone established and it starts to be the monotonous, like day to day showing up to work and doing your job and whatever, that's when stuff starts to get hairy, where one owner might not want to fucking get to work until 10 o'clock. And the
or
other
maybe
one's
it's
like
more than that they don't want
early.
to. Maybe it's that right now they don't have any kids, and then 4 years from now they do, and then that they can't work late, for example, or something, or they have to take the kids to school in the morning and they can't be at work until later. And so things change, I think, over time. It's not just that, life happens. And so I think we're doing a smart, it sounds like you're having a contract drawn up, and you're all going to sign it, and then in blood. And I guess is what's
I think the easiest thing though is to just be like, these are the clear cut. This is the way we handle shit when we don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's on paper and it's agreed upon now, if an argument comes up later, you're not the asshole or the other guy's not the asshole or whatever. You're just referring back to, these are the fucking rules. Like, this is what we agreed on. Like, that's
exactly what our attorney
you're clearly not doing this. Like, so that's what I mean. If you're just like, yeah, we agree on this now, and it's just like willy nilly in the air, then later when something happens, it just like, if you bring it up to one of the other ones that they're not doing something, you're just the asshole at that point. Like, you're not.
No, I get it. Our lawyer went over exactly what you just said. And you said like, everything needs to be written down and agreed upon, and not like, fuck, okay, fine. That's fine. I guess I'll agree upon. Like, you need to be like, this is the deal.
Right.
This is how things need to be.
This is the way.
Yeah. And he said, if you go back in 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years from now and be like, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. And like, he was like, well, tough shit. You signed it. This is how y'all agreed upon. So.
And you can change it. So you can amend it.
Yeah. Yeah. He
if
said
you all agree to amend it, you can. But
I mean, we're all single, no kids. So yeah, like what you said, life happens. And that's not, so like I know you mentioned like the honeymoon phase. Everyone's so good. I definitely are feeling it a little bit, but I'm also super pragmatic and realistic, and I definitely think ahead of like, okay, in 5 years from now, we're like, I'm not excited to go to work as I was when we first opened our shop. Like, what's that going to be like?
Right.
And I definitely think of things like that. And I brought it up to them too.
I think even with here, like me being the sole owner, but having managers that handle certain departments, I think as long as you all have separate things to do, like if you're not on each other's toes, you know what I mean? Like if two of your owners were sales guys, say, and you're both in the office all day long, you would butt heads over how to do certain things or how to structure things, or I want to have a sale, but the other one doesn't believe in doing sales, or like whatever. It's, you guys are going to butt heads, but if one is clearly production, one is clearly sales, one is clearly just doing outreach and finding new business, you guys should never really intersect. Like you should never cross the streams.
If you let everyone do their jobs, if you trust in the fact that if your role is sales and my role is production, and I trust in your role as being a good salesperson and you trust in me as being good at production, and I don't come in there and say, hey, this is you, what the fuck are you doing? You know, you're selling wrong or whatever. You don't come to me and say, why aren't you more efficient or whatever. If we stay out of each other's way and trust in that we're doing it the best, you know, then yeah, I think it works. I think there's times where that doesn't,
or something.
Yeah, I think there's times where that doesn't work, you know.
And I'll even, like I said, I'll say like I'm the owner, but I gave Bill basically when I hired him as production manager, I was like, I have to entrust in you that you're going to make, like, I want you to just, it's your call basically. Like, I don't want to have to be out there every 5 seconds with like, oh, how should we handle this? How should we handle this? Like, no, that's what I hired you for.
I agree.
You handle this and then come back to me, which is funny because I learned early on, there was a scenario. And again, like this is 100% Bill was in the right, whatever. Sometimes I get bored in my office and I'm the owner. I can fucking do whatever I want. I walk out into the shop and they're in between jobs. And there was this girl that we had just hired to be at the end of the dryer or whatever. And she was just kind of sitting there, not doing anything. And I had to go over to the inks or something, or look at something or mix something or whatever. And I grabbed her. I was like, hey, do you want to learn how to like mix an ink? And she was like, yeah. And she came over. And again, like her fucking boss is saying like, hey, do you want to come learn this thing? And I'm like showing her how to mix inks. And like Bill grabs me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just showing her how to mix inks. And he's like, well, I don't want her to mix inks. I want her to be at the end of the dryer. And like, I don't want her to think that this and this. And it's kind of like, at first I was like, what the hell? Like she wasn't doing anything. I was just trying to show her like, in case she ever needed to like mix an ink. But then I stepped back and realized and like went back to my office and he was just like, you need to like, you're undermining me because I told her that I need her to do this. And then you pop out and it's like, oh, whatever Dylan says goes. It's like, no, they need to know, like if Bill says that they need to do this, this is what they need to do. And I'm not just out there fucking, what was it? The Casparian putting my finger in the fan.
Right.
Like, and I was putting my finger in the fan. Like realistically, he had it handled. He had it what he wanted to do and whatever. And it's kind of like that. Like I said, like if you're walking into another owner's domain, you shouldn't come out and start making decisions.
Yeah. If
you need to realize like, hey, I'm in charge of fucking the front office and that's it. Like stay in my lane and trust that my other partner has it handled.
Right. I think that's definitely true. Yeah. You put your finger in the fan, you slow the fan down and it hurts. That's how it goes. That's the saying, the Ryanism.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense to me. Like I'm one thing I will admit, I'm terrible at emails. And that's also just another weight off my shoulder is knowing that our emails are just going to be answered immediately.
I was hoping you were just going to stop. Like you pause for a second. You're just like, I'm terrible at emails. And that was like the end of the statement. Like you just wanted the world to know, like you weren't good at emails.
Oh God. I have some friends that know that. But just knowing that I'm going to have the emails taken care of, that's for some reason, I don't know why that has been a big thing in my head for the past couple months. Saying like, oh, when we get this up and running, the emails are going to be answered. The emails are going to be answered. So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, that's good.
I have this thing I was thinking of recently because I heard somebody talking about it. And it really resonated with me because it's what Joanne and I do. So like, how do you guys greet your wife or girlfriend or significant other or just somebody important to you when you come home from work? How do you, like, let's say you've, regardless of if you've had a good day or a bad day or a mediocre day, whatever kind of day, do you greet them differently based on your day, or is it always the same? And
need
I've
to
only
get-
had someone live with me for a couple weeks at a time.
okay, okay. Well, maybe it's you're greeting them wrong.
No, well, I'm not getting into that. She was great at the time. She lived with me for a couple weeks while she was moving back in town, or moving houses. And I don't know if I ever really had a bad day, specifically that I can think of.
What do you mean, Andy? Like, what do you mean as far as like, what's something you do? Like, how's your wisdom? I know you're about to say like, oh, when I come in, I shower Joanne with high praise and whatever else.
One day, a long time ago, I don't know when it was, we hadn't seen each other for a while, and I had a tough day. And when I finally saw her, when I walked in, we were super excited to see each other, regardless of my day. I left that behind me as I walked into the house and was just super stoked. And like, we made a joke the next time I think it happened. And she came home, I applauded. I was like, oh my God, like she's home and everything. And we hugged each other. I know this maybe sounds cheap. I know this sounds cheesy, but just showing them affection, kind of like a dog would. Exactly. So like you're wagging your tail. You're really excited to see the person when they show up. I think there's something to that. And I think that's it's just something we do now all the time because it makes you feel good when you walk in and somebody's really excited to see you. And I think it's important. I think that what we do every day is hard and it takes a toll on you, whether it's a bad email or a difficult customer or a situation with HR or whatever it is. And when you walk in and and they see that on your face, or if you're just down or you're depressed or whatever it is, I think that I don't think that's good for your relationship. And so Joanne and I, we always greet each other now and like you're really excited to wait no matter what, even if we are happy.
All I'm hearing is that you and Joanne are furries, and when you get home, she has her dog outfit on, and you have to put yours on in the garage.
Yeah, I got pics here. You want to see?
And then when you come in, you're just full on.
I just thought that mental health wise, it was a crazy year last year. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that, like you said, even, you were like, you're at your shop late sometimes, and then you get home and you haven't seen this person or whatever it is, your kids even, I think that even if you're tired or whatever, it's important because what's the most important things in the world are your health, your family, and your friends. And your shop is just like something you do. You are not your shop. This is something that's really important. And I think we have a tendency to like get wrapped up and involved in like this is the most important thing. And you have to remember what's most important. Is last year taught me that real good, I think.
That sounds very healthy.
We're going to talk about feelings here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get into that mode. I'll be a little bit vulnerable and say that I have had a really rough 2 years or so in my life. And I was on cruise control for the last however many years of, like Andy said, my business is super important to me and my kids are super important to me. But other than that, I'm just focused on those things and I'm living that world, whatever. I was also grown up of like, don't talk about your feelings, that whole thing. Like men shouldn't talk about their feelings, like fucking suppress that shit till you have a heart attack at 40. That was my whole life. I just did what had to be done and I sucked it up and I just fucking stuffed it down and everything else. And then again, I still do this a lot, but it's with love, like Andy was saying. And you were saying that basically you see your friends or the people and you just say, hey, fuck you, whatever. I found out that after kind of like the last year when kind of my whole life changed and I moved out and everything else, that I really need to look at myself and see like what is good and healthy in that sense and what is bad and what I need to actually start talking about feelings so that I am not depressed and having panic attacks and all these other things that I discovered were actually real. So all in all, that being said, I've realized that the people that you see day to day and the people that mean something to you and your employees and everything else, like we all deserve praise and we all deserve to know that we're doing the right thing. And, you know, we might just be cruising through our day and doing what we're supposed to be doing, but think of how different it is for you when you're just doing what you're doing and a good friend of yours or your boss or somebody comes in and just like, hey, fuck face, and like gives you a hard high five. Or as cheesy as that sounds, but like it could be anything. It could be like, hey, I brought you a coffee, or like I went to Dunkin' and got everybody this, or we have a cafe right next door in my building now. So like we just are like things like that where it's just like, how are you doing? Or we turn up certain music that we know everyone's going to get pumped up to. I'm realizing that a lot of life now is just like Andy said, like cherishing close relationships, friendship, family, and your circle, basically. So for me, I know my shop's a little bit different, but my shop is very much my circle. But also, like, I have friends and family outside of this, and it's kind of like Christina has this too, which kind of opened my eyes a little bit. We've had discussions about this before, but she has a reminder on her phone. I don't know if it's once a week or whatever it is, but it just says like catch up with friends. It's a reminder to like, hey, this is my circle. I need to like
Check in.
For me, it's like call Andy or, you know, call Chris or whatever and just be like, hey, dude, like, how's your day? What's going on? Send a picture or something. And it's kind of like I needed to realize that all these people around me and like greeting people and everything, it needs to be different. It can't just be come in, do your shit, leave. You're a hard ass. You're a fucking badass man and fucking blah, blah, blah. You need to actually like talk about things and talk about your feelings and like give people praise when they deserve it and whatnot, and call people out on their shit when they deserve it too. Like, don't just sit back and let people do stuff. Cause that was my biggest thing is I was a people pleaser. And I mean, I still am, but I'm just saying like, I wouldn't want the conflict of telling somebody they're doing something wrong to me. I would just keep doing like the things that are good for them, but shitty for me. And I kind of went off the rails on this conversation, but my thought to the whole thing, like Andy said, is I think we all need to have a mindset with business and at home of we're all people and we're all trying to just get through the day. And I think it's best when we come in with a positive attitude and a mindset of fuck yeah, dude, we're here to do this. And I know here at the shop personally, like it bugs the fuck out of me when I come into the office late and there's no music playing. Like that's just a weird OCD thing for me, but like you can tell the mood in the office changes so much when you just put music on.
Do y'all have
Instead
TVs?
Yeah, we have TVs in the office.
Not in the production area though?
No, not in the production.
Okay.
Are you one of those people? Are you one of those people that has like a TV on the auto watching like a show like The Office or something while you're printing?
I don't have The Office, but I don't put on anything that I really need to pay attention to. It's always a movie that I've seen, but we definitely have a TV above the auto.
I can't do that, dude. I can't. It would
And
be bad.
I'm good about focusing on what I'm doing and just having that as background. But like hypothetically, it's a 2 revolution or on the whatever. And so like, I have a little bit of time to just look up, take a look. But yeah, if it's quiet in the shop, a lot of times
all in all, it's a mood booster for you, right? Like it's helping you get through the time.
I watched Judas Priest live in '83, California, at least three or four times a week.
Nice.
So like someone will come in the shop and like, you're still watching this? I'm like, I've watched it 3 times today. So
Metallica, I think it's Seattle, 1989.
Yeah, I watch that all the time.
It's the best.
Yeah.
That's on my Genie 3 wishes is to be able to go back and go to that show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's things like I watch a lot of live shows, and one thing I watch, I don't know if his name is Ines Bill Zimmer or something like that. He just tours mansions, like $50 million houses. I put those on all the time, and something you don't have to pay attention to, but like you can hear him talk about, oh, I'm in master bedroom. It's got the sink or whatever. Like just
that's such a weird flex.
Yeah. That's what, and our graphic guy came out the other day. He's like, "Why do you watch this shit?" I'm like, it's just background music or background noise, whatever. But
I think all in all, it's just we need to do things better than the way we did it before. And me and Andy did a seminar kind of on this topic a little bit in ISS, and we're going to be doing it again in Atlantic City. But it's just about creating an environment for your employees that's more uplifting and more with the times and more just, not the go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow kind of scenario.
Sure. I agree. I think having a personal life is more important than I think people realize. I mean, my grandpa, who I considered my dad, would go to work 6 o'clock in the morning, stay late. And he grew up in the country, super poor. So he said, like, when he started making money, he was like, hell yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I can't wait to go to work.
Right.
And he did that. And he made a good amount of money doing it. But
he was passionate about it. That was the thing.
He was passionate about it. He was an electrical contractor. I don't think he cared one bit about electrical work. He just cared that it's like, I can provide for my family very well. And he never let it consume. Like, they would go on trips. They would go out to dinner all night. Like, they would do family stuff all the time. So it wasn't just like an all consuming work. So I think that's one thing I picked up on too, growing up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Andy, are you ready for over-unders?
Yeah, let's do it. So we have 4 today.
Okay.
You just let me know if you think it's overrated, underrated, or properly rated. The first one is the Super Bowl.
Properly. I think people who like it. People who don't.
He took the easy way out. I'm going to go ahead and say it because I fucking hate sports.
Okay.
Overrated.
I'm not a sports guy at all. I like MMA, like fighting, jiu-jitsu stuff, weightlifting, but like team sports have never been my thing.
I played a lot of sports. Well, I played lacrosse like all year long in middle school and high school and all that stuff. And then sports liking ended there. Like, I only liked lacrosse and that was it. Never been into like other sports. And I couldn't tell you any rules to any games or anything. Yeah. I'm that guy who shows up at your Super Bowl party, eats your food, and watches the commercials.
Yeah.
Like, I could care less about the game.
Yeah, so that's why the Super Bowl is underrated, is because it's not just a sporting event that you're watching on TV. It's televised. It's a social event.
Like, I want your wings, I want your dips, and I want to watch the funny commercials.
Exactly. So it has something for everyone. Underrated, I'm going with it. Number 2. Oh, gosh, this gets me all kind of worked up. Loud cars.
I was going to say, what is that, your kink? Like,
extremely overrated. I hate them.
God, thank you. Yeah, somebody's on my team. Like, we have.
No, I'm on the other side of this.
I didn't say loud bikes. I said loud cars.
I like loud cars too.
Why?
I have a loud motorcycle, so maybe
you have to. It's safety. Yeah. Loud car isn't safety. That's just whatever. But it's just the feeling. Like, I know it's a super bro, shitty, whatever thing if some dude just revving the piss out of his car outside your house. Mm-hmm. But when you own like a classic car and it's just fucking the vibrations and loud. No, I'm not saying like a fucking Honda Civic with a fart can on the back. I'm talking like like a Chevelle or something out front that you're like driving. That you
car is cool.
Yeah, like you fixed up and it's just like you can feel it and drive it. And that's the sadness of like the electric car is there's no like life to the thing. It's a fucking electric motor that pushes you forward.
Changing the topic is then cars with fart cans. Is that what you said? Fart cans on the back. Yeah. Like that kind of loud car.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, thank you.
Oh yeah. God. I hate it. I hate it. So
I hate a spoiler more than that. Like people who have like a fucking Camry and they put a spoiler on the back.
Like 2 foot off the
downforce on your fucking 65 miles an hour is doing nothing for you, bro.
Put the spoiler on if you want, dude. But what bothers me is the freaking loudness when I'm just trying to chill and my neighbor goes by and I hear him from like 4, 5, 6 blocks away. And I'm like, oh, he's going to he's got to run to the fucking vape store or something and then hit up whatever Jimmy John's on the way home. Who knows? Like, what the hell? Like, why are you always leaving? And why do you have to go so fast and loud outside of our neighborhood? Just wait till you get out.
You're showing your age right now.
I'm getting old. I am for sure. All right. Ready? Number 3. Valentine's Day.
Oh, overrated like a motherfucker.
Oh my God. This one's I could give you a long answer on this one, but short, I'm going to say it's properly rated.
Properly rated. Huh. Okay. Surprises me.
Oh God. I'm extremely romantic, and I think things like that are important.
I was not expecting this answer at all.
No one ever is. My favorite movies are rom-coms, if they're good. Spy thrillers are a close second, but rom-coms I think are by far my favorite.
You're such a sensitive man. I like it.
Yeah.
I can't be.
Just found out.
I cried in the Notebook.
Don't even get me started on that.
I cried at P.S. I Love You.
If you didn't cry, you were the devil.
Yeah. Andy,
So
you definitely cried.
You're going with properly rated Valentine's Day, Dylan?
Overrated for sure. I mean, I like that it's like a day, an excuse for your significant other to get in some sexy outfit and do some crazy nighttime activities and daytime activities and morning activities. But as far as like the whole buying flowers and cards and everything else, I don't necessarily like the consumer aspect of it. I just think maybe it's a special day to do something cool. Yeah. You can't like go out to dinner that night because every place is booked and everything else. It's kind of like a dinner in Netflix and chill all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think properly rated. I think that during the rest of the year you should also be romantic, but there's always, I guess, a day to make it for the dudes who aren't very, and then maybe they can do something nice. So I think properly rated, yes. Next, last, but definitely not least, push-ups.
Ooh, I think it would depend on who you are, because if you're into fitness and weightlifting, you know how important they can be. But if you're like maybe not someone who's into fitness or athletic stuff, and that's just, the bro's doing push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't.
I'm into thickness, not fitness.
It's just properly, I guess. In the middle again, I guess.
I could give 2 fucks about push-ups, but I also haven't done a push-up probably since high school.
Big fan of pull-ups.
Oh yeah, I have a pull-up bar in my door jam.
I'm big a fan of watching people try to do pull-ups on their door jam thing and then falling on their ass. I'm a big fan of that.
How many can you do, Andy?
Not very many. So I'm trying to get back into it. So I am getting back into it.
He can do 10 with Joanne pushing up on his legs as he does it.
So here's the thing. We are in a group called Mild Hunks, and Dylan is going to do his first push-up this week. He doesn't know it yet.
I could do a push-up.
Okay, well, you're going to do...
I said a push-up, by the way.
Yeah, but you need to do it every day. And so that's why I think push-ups are underrated, whether you're into fitness or not. I think that it's an important thing to stay fit somewhat anyway. I'm not saying you have to go to the gym and work out for 3 hours or anything like that. I think it's just important to do some basic movements to stay fit, because I hurt myself. And
How did you hurt yourself, Andy?
Doing fitness. but I did it. I needed to do more core stuff. And so anyway, it's just weird when your health's taken away from you, when you have an event, when this is like my first big health event, everything kind of comes into perspective a little bit differently. And so, yes, I think push-ups are underrated. I think they're very easy to do. I think it doesn't take very long out of your day. I'm not saying to do, 1,000. I'm just saying if you just did 50.
Do what you can.
Yeah.
Can I real talk for a second?
Yeah. Real talk. Let's hear it.
The research I've been doing, because again, in this 2-year span, I've been really trying to find out how to be healthier in my own thing. Mm-hmm. Andy has helped me out a lot with this. I know he just scolded me because I had a Coke with lunch, but that's not a normal thing. And all the YouTube and everything I've been watching and filtering out all these there's so much health stuff I feel like is so much more saturated than anything else with like misinformation or people trying to sell you their program or like whatever else. And I feel like what I found is just like do what like works for you for sure. Like there's so many different things and so many like I feel like so many people that are big people like me get discouraged when it's like, oh, I have to do fitness because that's what I did. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna buy a rower and then I'm gonna fucking like buy a kettlebell and
I love rowing.
I'm gonna like do this thing or get on this diet or whatever. And I've crashed and burned so many times on that stuff of like, oh, I'm going to do it. And you do it hard for like 2 weeks and you're like, fuck this. This is stupid. Mm. So I think the biggest thing is just finding like what you can fit in your routine and that you like. And like for me, what I like is getting outside and I like going on long walks. And it's also like huge for like mental clarity, like just going to the lake and walking for an hour and a half every day. It's like huge to just like get zened before you go to work and stuff like that. And it's like walking is great for like just like staying healthy and like losing some weight and whatever, but it's also like eat in moderation and like just try to be in a little bit of a deficit. Like don't stop eating what you eat.
And by the way,
don't eat fucking 10 cheeseburgers in a row.
I sent you, or I told you which protein shake to buy and you sent me a pic that you had them in your hands. Does that mean you bought them?
Which also side note on this, I didn't realize, I didn't really look at the brand name of what you showed me until I got to Wegmans and I was going to buy it. So Andy called me and told me like, hey, you should get these protein shakes and whatever, and like maybe replace a meal with it. And they're really good and all this other stuff. I was like, all right, I'll get like a 4-pack or whatever. I didn't realize they were fucking called Muscle Milk.
That one was. No, one of them was. They're all about the same, but that's one of them. Yeah. Is that the one you bought?
Yes.
The Muscle Milks taste the best.
Okay, good. Because that's what I got.
So one thing, do you know who Jocko Willink is?
No.
He was a Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Yeah, he came from hardcore, so that's kind of where I kind of like what made me like start looking at stuff. His brand of his Jocko Milk, I think is what it's called.
I have seen that. It's at Wegmans too. Like it was there.
Sells it. Well, I cannot. He's not paying me, obviously, but I cannot tell you how good those things taste to me. Those are the only protein drinks that I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll drink it. It tastes okay. But like, I'm like, I will just drink this because it tastes good. I think it's incredible. I like a lot of Jocko stuff, but the protein stuff right that he makes is by far the best.
I haven't tried them yet. I don't know. Papa Andy told me to do it, and I feel like I have to at least try it now. So
I think you start your day with it. Yeah. That's all.
Do y'all think? Andy, do you like lift weights or do any like resistance training stuff like that? Anything like that?
Some very minor. I'm back into it now.
He resists my ideas.
Very slowly.
Do you work on press at all anymore?
No, I want to, but I haven't since I guess summer.
Okay. I definitely think that is like being physically strong has definitely made it easier to work long hours and not be dead when you're done.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me.
For sure. Push-ups, underrated. I think we're all agreeing now. And so cool.
Went off the rails.
All right. That's it, right? Neal?
Well,
thank you. It's been great. It's been real, Neal.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to wish you again, sorry if I got like all in your face on the partnership thing, but I just really want to let people know, like, make sure it's for you. So I know you're in it now and it's happening, whatever. I just want you to be aware that like shit happens. Friends are friends until shit gets tough. But I'm super stoked that you're getting out and you're doing your own thing. I'm fucking excited to hear from you later about how your journey is with a new place and a new thing. So good luck with that. If you ever need anything, let me know. Reach out.
Okay, I do have a couple questions I asked later. Yeah. I'll send you a message later, but
we'll DM together. That's fine. Okay. But appreciate you, man.
I'm here too, by the way. I'm here too. You can you have my number.
If you want a mediocre,
if you want a better answer,
you can hit up
you know who to text.
Good luck with your lease signing today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
Very excited.
All right.
Have a good day, dude.
Yeah.
Cool. See y'all.